Hi, and welcome to the MEDT 24-1 Syllabus Go Over Fall 2012. Now, you're going to want to take the syllabus, maybe print it up, and read it more carefully than what I'm showing you and talking about today. I just want to touch on highlights and try to be done with this in about 6 minutes. I say that so you can probably double that time. Anytime I state a goal like that, it seems like the time gets doubled. So let's see if that's true. All right, so the class is mostly online. So you need to make sure you are logging in. That's the most important form of attendance. You log in every week. 4 times a week is a good amount, and I talk about that below. But that is so important that you show up. Sometimes online classes have a tendency to not attract students the way showing up into a brick and mortar school does, because you've been trained to show up in a classroom, sit there, do what a teacher live tells you to do. And so it's I don't know, somehow some folks comment that this format doesn't compel them. So you have to step up and make sure you show up. We do have 5 face-to-face sessions here, and I urge you to come to those. The attendance is required. And then you can also look at the course plan, which I've linked here. I also link to it below. Later on, I talk about it in more depth, but it's the sort of plan for the semester. What are we doing and when? What assignments are due when? That's the course plan. My favorite document in the class. My favorite sort of organizational document. So you can check that out. It's got all of these dates on it, kind of showing you where they appear in the module structure. The modules are sort of like the learning sessions or the classes that you're going to attend, or the lessons. I mean, we can call it lessons. There's 5, or really no, there's 7 modules. Okay, I'm not sure because I'm not looking at it. There's either 6 plus an orientation. Yeah, I think there's 6 plus an orientation. So there's 7 modules total, or 7. You can look at them as lessons or units if you want. And so this course plan will show you that. All right, so I have office hours Mondays and Tuesdays, pretty much all day till 3 o'clock. And I do not have specific online hours, but if you ever need to talk by phone, by Skype, by Blackboard IM, that kind of thing, we can do that. And even though I don't want you calling me past 8 p.m., that doesn't mean I can't talk after 8 p.m. I can talk after 8 p.m. I mean, my face-to-face sessions go after 8 p.m., so obviously I'm going to have to learn how to talk after 8 p.m. It's just that, as a rule, I'm not going to want to pick up the phone just randomly, sort of in an unexpected fashion after that time, because I have a couple kids, and we do story time, and it's just a hassle getting them to bed. Let me just put it that way. We don't do story time. We don't have time for that. Well, we do sometimes, but a lot of the time it's just pulling teeth, pulling hair just to get them in bed. So that's what I'm up to at that time. And so chatting about the class at that moment is not my favorite activity. It's just I'm too harried at that moment. So try not to call past 8 p.m. if you could, but at the same time you can always let me know and we can schedule a time. I'm frequently awake till 11 o'clock at night, or even midnight very occasionally, so I can handle it. Just let me know. You can call me. Let's see, there's a certain order in which I prefer you ask questions, because it benefits the class if you do this. If you use the course questions and answers discussion board inside of CourseDen, the plus to that is that if the question you're asking is suitable for the whole group, then other people can either answer it, because maybe they know the answer, maybe the answer is somewhere in the materials and you just didn't see it, and that happens all the time to all of us. And so someone else can help you, and they might be able to help you more quickly than I do. What if my turnaround time is 8 hours and theirs is 2? So that's one good reason. It benefits other people. It allows other people to help you, which is good for community. Actually, those are the main reasons right there. It also is a time saver for me, obviously. If I can answer one question 1 time rather than one question 5 times, that's also very helpful. And normally, big questions that lots of folks are having in email, even if you choose to send me messages in CourseDen mail, which I also welcome, I end up having 1,000 or more of these this semester, which is totally fine. I will often turn them into announcements if I'm getting the same question over and over again. So you're welcome to mail me there if you want. You can send me a UWG email. And you can phone, call me, or text message me at this number. That will get my mobile phone, which I often have with me, but not always, and you can text me there. All right, so I've gone 5 minutes. I told you I was going to try to keep this under 6. Basically, in this class, we're going to be learning about the basics of instructional technology. We're going to be working with productivity tools like spreadsheets, databases, PowerPoint. We're going to be learning about electronic databases such as those in Galileo and other internet tools. And you're going to do a lot of exploring of technological resources that are appropriate for learning in classrooms. Okay? There's no textbook, but you do have to have very reliable computer access. You really want to have a reliable and functional printer if you are the type of person that needs to print things. I don't require that. I'm not going to check to see that you printed things. I don't really care, quite honestly, as long as you're learning in the way that best suits you. If you need things printed in order to be successful, then you need a printer or access to one. Make sure your computer has the plugins. Plugins are the little software tools that help keep your web browser, your most important tool for online learning probably. It helps keep it healthy. If you don't know what a plugin is or how to use this, it's maintained by the Distance Ed group on campus, and their phone number is actually up here. If you look at online support, there's their phone number right there. The DDEC, they're the folks to help you with those plugins. They maintain that page. They're the ones that put them up there. They know what's best for your computer. You'll also want to have a USB jump drive so that when you come into class on those evenings that we have a face-to-face session, you can, port your things to and from class. You want speakers and headphones so you can listen to videos like this one, and you'll want a TK20 subscription, which is basically the portfolio system that we use at the University of West Georgia. In it, you put the things that you do from various classes. They're called key assessments. They're things that they're activities and assignments that show that you're learning what you're supposed to be learning as you move through your program. And they're your evidence of learning, and everybody has to subscribe to it. I'm even subscribed to it because I'm also a student. So I had to pay the $100 or whatever it was to get my TK20 subscription. And boy, was I thrilled. All right, so coursework, evaluation, procedures, and grading. I say that there's 3 main types of tasks in this class, but really there's just 2 at the moment. Although you will see what some people might call quizzes or assessments. You will see a few of them. They won't be necessarily testing you over content, but they'll be used to capture your feedback about things. So it's important to know about them. I just kept it in here just in case I were to use a quiz. I need to have it in here. So discussions, we'll be having several this semester. Be sure that you know how to post in the discussion board, read here, and watch this video if you have never done it before. Assignments are the bulk of your work. Most of your work is what we would call an assignment or maybe a project, and these are submitted through Dropboxes. If you've never used the Coursed-In Dropbox tool, then watch this video. Unfortunately, these videos were made in the old school way, using Flash, and so if you're a Mac user and you can't watch them, it's probably because of Flash issues. And you might want to call the DDC and see if there's a workaround for that. But I've learned now, in the past year, I've been making most of my videos on YouTube because YouTube uses HTML4, which Mac users don't have a problem with. All right, moving on. Projects. Check out your projects. This will tell you more detail what the 10 main projects of the class are. And this table on page 9 will show you what projects are, what module they're in, and how much they're worth. This is sort of like the course plan. This is a required table, by the way. To me, this table provides some information that it's good for holding the instructor of the course accountable. I will say that, because when you have course objectives like you do in the syllabus that are stated up above, then yes, you want these projects to tie back to those objectives. You don't, the parent letter is tied to objective 2. You don't want to have course objectives stated above and then have these assignments not tie to anything. They're just random things that the instructor wants to do. So that's good. I recognize that, but I'm saying in terms of you guys, I don't know if you want to know that. So I urge you to check out the course plan if you wanted to know, okay, That's great to know that these things are in Module 1, but when is it due? And that's when where the course plan comes in. There's a total of 1,030 points. Now, I mentioned in another video, maybe. I'm not sure. It depends on if I deleted that video or kept it. But in one of the video takes that I did, I said that this course was designed by somebody else, and that's true. I have not changed it because I am actually trying to learn the dominant way in which this course is taught, because this course is a prerequisite for MEDT 34.1, the course that I mostly teach, and I've taught that for almost 6 years. So I need to learn what is 24.1 according to my department. What is this course? And so I'm not changing anything. I want to know how has this thing been taught. This is the most recent, up-to-date version of it, and I'm a little bit unsure of how it's going to go, but by that I mean, if I were to design this class based on the course objectives up above, it would not be the same class. And that's what I mean by unsure. I think that it's a good class. I think that it looks really good. It's got good support for how you do these things. It's got good activities that respond to the objectives. And so that's where I'm going to be learning with you. I'm going to be learning not only what it is exactly that 24.1 students do, but I'm also going to be learning about how 24.1 students experience this class. So I'm going to be learning about that, and that's very important to me, that both of those things are important, that I understand not only, of course I need to know what it is, and I'm superficially familiar because I've read the syllabus many times. I've actually observed this class a couple times as well, and I've been inside the online section multiple times over the years. But there's nothing like teaching something, is there? So now I'm going to really know it inside and out. And I'm just really interested in learning what you guys think, because I wonder about, here's what I'm going to wonder. This is a big thing. Are these assignments appropriate, or should they be updated in some way? That will be the question that's kind of lingering in the back of my mind. But for now, I think that they're great. All right, so class, department, and university policies. Attendance. You want to attend all of face-to-face classes, and I'll give you more information about those. I'll try to let you know, in this upcoming face-to-face class session, we are going to do X, Y, and Z. And, I'll let you know what you need to do and probably what you need to bring. I mean, at a minimum, you should bring like your key drive and your thinking cap on. But I'll let you know as best I can what we're going to actually be doing in there. And I suspect that by the end of the semester, near the end, unless we actually use that last face-to-face for presentations of some kind, it's possible that we will, attendance will not be required. I don't know yet. It's too early for me to tell. I'm willing to be that way unless we need to do group presentations, which I think will be the case for that last class. I think we do need to do group presentations, so we shall see. Or not necessarily group, but your final presentation needs to be done to the group. All right, online attendance, very important. I said earlier, you want to log in 4 or more days per week. Late work policies, this is important too. That's why I'm touching on it. Discussions late policy. There's no extensions on discussions. You need to post on time if you want credit. Assignments late policy. There's a sort of a late window where you can submit everything late for up to a week. It's called the cutoff window. So we've got due dates. This is what's posted in the Dropbox and what is posted in the course plan. But every Dropbox you can actually submit to a Dropbox up to a week later, except for the very last week. The very last module, that Dropbox can only go 3 days past. And we call that extra time the cutoff window, or here it is, the cutoff window. And you can use the cutoff window, but know that there may be a 10% deduction off of your total points. So that is just a tiny little ding to your grade to encourage you to turn things in by the deadline that's posted. However, it is usually not that big a deal if you were to use the cutoff window. If you do that, there's a 10% little deduction. Okay? And as I say, it may be subject to a deduction. You know, the way I would do that is either everybody gets the deduction for submitting in the cutoff window or nobody does. And that's just the way I do that. Like in the beginning of the semester, I'm very lenient. And if you have trouble with the technology, if you have trouble wrangling with the Dropbox, or you don't understand the assignment, or something, or you know, who knows? I'm very helpful in the beginning of the semester, so I'm not going to take off that deduction if you're submitting in the cutoff window. I'm not worried about it at that point, okay? So I'm talking the first month of class, not a problem at all. Sunday, December 2nd is the final deadline of the class, and then it's got an abbreviated cutoff date of Wednesday, December 5th at midnight. There's no quizzes in this class yet, so we're not going to worry about that. As for the OOPS box, I have something called the OOPS Dropbox, and you can use this for any one assignment or discussion. Using the OOPS, let's say that you missed something in the beginning and you didn't get it in by the cutoff. You can use this to submit it. You will have no points reduced from it. It's like one freebie, free pass, okay? But only one. So be strategic. Don't use it for like your roster picture, which is only worth a small amount. You would use it for something worth more points, probably, unless you only had one thing to choose from. And then what if, though, what if in spite of this safety net here, we've got cutoff window, we've got this OOPS Dropbox, what if you are that student, because there's always one, who comes to me in the last 3 weeks with lots of work that suddenly you want to do that you didn't do, and if you don't do it, you're going to get an F. So what if you're that? Please don't be that student. Let me just put it that way. You will get 50% off. All right? Let's just keep it simple. So if you don't get it in into the Dropbox within the cutoff or the OOPS box, then anything I accept will be 50% off. And that's pretty nice of me. Some people think I'm a softie for doing that. So we'll move on now. Tips for meeting deadlines, check those out. Just don't procrastinate. And I'm one to talk because sometimes I do that, like every week. But don't do it. Be professional in your conduct. Sometimes in this class we don't post a whole lot of stuff online. In my other class that I teach we do. So this becomes more of an issue in my opinion, because when students are posting bizarre YouTube videos on their sort of class wikis, student wikis that they make, that can become a problem occasionally when they put kind of iffy stuff like Lady Gaga on their like elementary school wiki that they make in my class. You know, stuff like that. Just be a professional. And I know that you're learning to be a professional, and we're all still learning to be a professional. You know, we all want to just let our hair hang down and be ourselves, but sometimes we got to act a little bit professional, so check that out. Student email policy, check that out. Academic honesty is expected. I expect you to behave in an academically honest way. Don't plagiarize. Cite your sources. Don't copy other people's work. I mean, I had one student in recent, probably 2 years ago, who just copied another student's discussion post. It was crazy, you know, and you don't want to go there. You're a teacher. I mean, you're a teacher in the making. You can't be academically dishonest. Disability. If you have any disabilities I need to know about, please get me your documentation. If you need videos to have closed captioning, let me know. Extra credit. There's not a whole lot of extra credit in the class. This is actually not the case anymore. There's not an extra credit Dropbox. But there is extra credit for this, so I'm going to leave this here. There is some extra credit in the class, so I'm just going to leave that alone. All right. And the course plan, I mentioned that. It's a fabulous document that will tell you what we're doing when. I can't talk about it. I can't laud it enough. I can't celebrate it enough. And let's see here. The online week. The online week goes from Monday through Sunday. So everything's due on Sunday nights. We have about 15 weeks of class. And that's about it. I think I'm going to mention one other thing up here. When you come into CourseDen, if you're new to CourseDen, sorry about that, that's my phone. If you're new to CourseDen, you want to do a few things when you go in there. You want to check your mail, check the discussion board. You might check out the course plan and ask, what are we doing this week? You know, what is going on this week? What did we do last week? What are we doing next week? Where am I in the big picture of the course? And then go into the learning module and find the checklist that pertains to that module to figure out, okay, what am I really doing this week? What am I drilling down into? So that's my intro to the syllabus. Unfortunately, it is more than 3 times as long as I had hoped. Let me know if you have any questions.